Yo, peace. What's going on, y'all? Testing out this this whole YouTube live thing, which I typically don't do. I usually do Facebook or IG, but I figured I'd try it out. You know what I'm saying? So right now, doing my morning ride going into PG County, Maryland, where I'm from. Do me a solid, make sure you say peace when you get in here, and let me know where you checking in from, all that good stuff. And also, another favor to ask, please make sure you share the link so other people can you know, show up and partake. You know what I mean? So just to let you know, if you guys got questions or anything like that, I will do my best to get to every question that pops up. But keep in mind, I'm driving, so I'm only gonna check out your questions when you actually post, well, after you post them. When I get to like a stoplight or anything. Yeah, so make sure after you guys say peace, y'all do me a solid, let me know where you checking in from. So one of the questions was, what school? I'm heading to Suitland High School in Prince George's County, Maryland, or PG County. That is the school where I serve currently, you know, working in the community with the good folk, with the people. So look, what I'm gonna do right now, because a lot of times, you know, when folks see me live, some of the MCs or other artists, they ask me about like my process, how I create, and sometimes like how I rehearse. And so right now, where I am right now in the car, this is where I rehearse the vast majority of the material you see me do live. Because a lot of times, because I'm so active doing stuff in the community, in terms of the youth work I do, or ripping and running with my family, or a long list of other things, that I don't get a lot of time to schedule rehearsals. And any band that I've worked with, they can tell you the same. Like, we'll maybe get one or two in. And my DJ, we rock together so much, you know, it's really never a rehearsal, more of a conversation. Like, yeah, we'll do this, do that, you know. So, but yeah, so what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna give you the rehearsal experience, because this is how I rehearse most times, in the whip on my way to a show. So, yeah, let me see what we got. All right, because I got a bunch of my instrumentals loaded in the whip. Oh, look at that. There's an oldie but goodie. Songs, My Favorite Things. It's from my second album. Why not? Look, I'm glowing. I got that glow. Remember, if you got questions, you can throw your questions in there. And I'll get to it when I can. Alright? So, me reenacting almost every rehearsal I've ever done in the whip. And it goes, hip-hop culture, a way of life that's preyed on by vultures to fatten up their pockets. Some really thought they stop it, then called it a fad, all to the bad. When you listen now, way of life, son, is a trip. What in your lip, Pete, what I say tonight. Started in the South Bronx, but the brother here's from Maryland. Humble mumble saucer, MCs will be shining like Sterling. That's a whole nother song, moving along, back to the subject. HIP to the HOP, man, I love it. It consists of 4 elements, some say 5 or more. Didn't know that till now, what the hell you rhyming for? There's breaking and rapping, DJing and grab. I add on beatboxing cause I practice that craft. Like crucial, spitting rhymes in the cipher with no beat, that's quite useful. But then there was breaking, so you can stop that quite early, cause I didn't like the idea that dance moves could hurt me. But still find popping and locking to be mad nice. Now all my energy is used only to grab mics and rock on to the dawn of early morning. I still do graffiti, just took my mom's warning and kept it on the paper to avoid central booking, cause to hell with jail, I was more scared of butt whoopings. Now I'm a grown man with hip hop still wake up in me. Love it for life, even if I never see one penny. While MCs kick rhymes to beats on acapella. Rap artists tagging, get round through all weather. Our culture's evolving, what next will it bring? Hip hop, my weather, mics in the spotlight or remain underground. Shout out to Steph, by the way. Will still be my favorite thing as long as the earth is still round. That's what's up. So yeah, man. a little rundown of how I do things most days or whatever. All right, love from Chicago. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, peace. What's going on, buddy? All right. Could I sing Eclipse? Could I do Eclipse? I don't have the instrumental on me, but maybe I'll spit a verse from Eclipse. All right. It's a song I don't perform as often, so if I do stumble, you know what I mean? You know, pardon the slip up. But real quick, before I jump into spitting something else, let me give you guys a quick heads up. So for those of you who don't know, all right, if you are a person who likes vinyl, do me a couple of favors. Number one, make sure you hit the like button so I can get an idea how many of y'all in here like vinyl records. And number two, make sure you share this because it's going to be information in this link, in this video talking about vinyl. So, my vinyl in particular. So for those of you who don't know, my first two albums, To This Union, The Sun Was Born, and my second album, Sacrifice, which My Favorite Things was from, both of those albums I am repressing on vinyl. Now, I'm having a Kickstarter campaign right now, which is live, and I'm trying to get the vinyl pressed through that campaign. So you guys can go ahead and support the campaign by checking out the link that should be in the description of this video. And if you don't see it, here's the information for it right now. The link is bit.ly/subonwax, SUBONWAX. All right, sub on wax. All right, so bit.ly/subonwax. All right, so check that out. We are almost there. We've raised 75% of the dough for the campaign. The goal was to raise $10,000 because pressing vinyl is very expensive. So check that out. Make sure you support. We only have 13 days left, so we're under 2 weeks officially now. The campaign's been doing really well. One of the perks is already sold out, but some of them are still available. Some of those perks also include a chance to collaborate with me, even if you're not an artist. If you think it would be cool or whatever to have an artist who you appreciate write a song based on an idea that you have, there is an option in there for that. There's lots of cool merch and obviously vinyl. So yeah, that's that. Yeah, any questions, go ahead, throw them in there. In the meantime, let me see what else I can do for you. All right, I know someone asked for Eclipse. Again, I think the last time I performed Eclipse was, man, we were in LA. I think LA was the last time I performed Eclipse, and it was because they were asking me at the show, yo, can you do Eclipse? Can you do Eclipse? And so it's funny, I go to do Eclipse and then I look at my screen and it blacked out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm not supposed to do Eclipse. Is that what it's trying to tell me? I don't know. But yeah, where were we? I think I was getting ready to do the verse when the joint cut out. All right, let's see. So it goes, do you honestly believe I turn my back on you and leave my true love all alone in this cruel world, where every single solitary day I do my best to got a future for me and you, girl, cause it is all about you. It's been all about you. Seconds feel like millenniums when I'm without you. But my mama said there'd be days like this and ain't jack we can do. That's the way life is. But it's been weeks since I felt your lips, and I'm a fiend for my queen, so I need a fix. Only for now I settle for these talks on the phone, but I cut my arm off for a moment alone with the one that I cherish, whether in Rome, Paris, Amsterdam, or I'm forgetting the lyrics. Amsterdam or Japan, just know that I am thinking about my baby as much as humanly possible. But I know you're frustrated because life has too many obstacles. But this is for the thing I'm saying enough. Waiting for the day we touch your lips to my eclipse. Solar Luna, I see you soon, but talk to you soon. Yeah. So, again, if you got questions, throw them in there. I'm sorry for just destroying the performance of that. As I mentioned before, for the person who asked me to do it, I don't perform that song very often, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, man, I hope y'all are doing great. Happy, what is it, Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to y'all. I will say, you know, just to change direction real quick. So I'm thinking about like when the year kind of starts up. When I say the year, I'm talking about the school year. Since you know, I'm a person who works in different schools in the area. That's what's up. I'm thinking about when the school year starts, maybe doing a live thing on my way into the office. You know what I mean? Basically every morning, like a little motivational Monday joint. You know what I mean? Just making that a regular thing. On Facebook Live right now, I already do Substantial Sundays, for those of you who don't know. So if you follow my official page on Facebook, you can catch me every Sunday afternoon. Usually I film somewhere between 12 noon and 4 p.m., sometimes a little later depending on what events are happening. But yeah, that's a regular thing I do already, for those of you who don't know. But what I'm thinking about doing, because like during the week I sometimes do joints on Instagram depending on what's going on, and then I also have been considering, like I said, doing something on Mondays with YouTube Live. So we will see. You know what I mean? Like if that sounds like something you're interested in, let me know in the comments. You know, just trying to throw a little positivity out there, man. It's a lot of craziness happening in the world right now. Obviously, I'm in the United States, and so we got our share of drama going on. But there's horrible events that have taken place, and natural disasters in both Sierra Leone and I believe, I forget what part of China, but China as well. You know, like terrible things happening all over. And I know if you're anything like me, man, you like with all the bad news that we're getting, it helps to get a little bit of sunshine, you know what I mean, a little positivity, man, just to balance that out. And I don't mind being that person to provide a little bit of that, since, you know, I'm blessed with good people around me who give me my share, you know what I mean, to kind of help me push through. And so you know, I don't really get caught up in too much of the people thinking it's corny, this, that, and the third. Because people want it when they want it, you know what I mean? Like 1 second they're hating on it, but then when their life is in shambles and they need some balance, you know what I mean? The same thing they're hating on, they looking for. So, as Andre 3000 once said, I'm here to put a little paint where it ain't, you know what I mean? So yeah, man, I'm at a stoplight. That means if you got a question, you better get to typing real quick before I start driving again and I can't answer your question. So again, you got any questions, just throw them in the mix and I got you. All right, what's your favorite song to perform? Great question. Man, I really love from the new album, one of the songs I probably enjoy performing the most is a song called Black of All Trades. It's a song that lyrically I'm very proud of in terms of what it talks about. Really, it's a song that deals with, you know, the misconception that if you are a person who's great at multiple things, or if you're a person who likes to do multiple things, you can't master multiple things. You have to choose. You have to pick this one thing and just be good at that. And I've never really been a person that has bought into that ever. You know, I believe I'm a great visual artist and also, you know, a pretty good lyricist. And I also happen to be a solid educator as well. So, you know, I mean, there's a lot of different hats that I wear, and I don't kind of shy away from any of those. Like, nah, I'm okay. You know what I mean? Like, nah, I think each one of those things that I've chosen to do, you know, I've kind of dedicated myself to kind of mastering different aspects of those particular fields I work in some way, shape, or form. So Black of All Trades, which is from my new album, The Past is Always Present in the Future, is one of my current favorite songs to perform. In terms of older material, what was it? Doing Blessing It. Blessing is always fun. It's not necessarily one of my favorite songs that I did with Nujabes. However, it is, it's usually a lot of fun to perform it, just to see the energy, the crowd reaction. And so I enjoy performing it, especially when I'm in front of a crowd who I know they're there for that song. You know what I mean? But my favorite song that I did with Nujabes, if you've ever been to one of my shows or ever seen interviews when people ask me that, my favorite song that I did with Nujabes is Ain't No Happy Endings. So I don't perform it all the time, but when I do, that's definitely one of my more favorite songs that he produced that I enjoy performing. Beat spot in the area that's still around. Hold on. I'm about to pull up to another stoplight so I can catch your question. Oh, thank you, man, to the person who said, you know, they're my biggest fan. I appreciate that. All right. So when I get to this next stoplight, I'm gonna check for these questions I'm missing. And again, if I miss any of your questions during the live feed, I will go back through the comments and try to make sure I tag you and answer it. All right. So I appreciate y'all patience, man, and thank y'all for tuning in. I'm not done yet, but make sure you share the link as well. That's how these things get out and more people know. I think a lot of people who are familiar with my music don't necessarily have a direct link for me, or even realize in some cases that I'm still active. All right, hold tight. Let me see what this. All right, we good. So right now, give y'all a heads up because I thought I was gonna stop and I'm not. So right now I'm broadcasting from Suitland, Maryland. Suitland, Maryland is the area I went to high school in. Yeah, man, like, I've seen a lot growing up here, met a lot of great people. You know, it's like a lot of urban areas where it has its challenges, obviously, but the people here, man, like, you know, it's funny. So it's interesting being a black man, right? And what I mean by that is, if you're a black man who, quote unquote, fits the stereotype, I mean, people pretty much like point at you and, you know, and pretty much say things like you're just confirming what they already thought. But then if you're someone who doesn't fit the stereotype, now keep in mind too, I want you to understand that you know, people sometimes talk to me like I'm this rarity, like there aren't other people, not necessarily exactly like me, but there aren't other positive black men. There aren't other black men who are raising their kids, who are doing all of these things that they typically don't associate with being a black man. And so this area that I grew up in, which very much, you know, certain pockets of it is very much the hood, you know what I mean? But be clear, like, everything that you see me like do, say, share with folks, I'm literally a reflection of the community I grew up in. You know what I mean? Like a literal reflection of the community I grew up in. All the good and the bad. You know what I mean? So when you see me taking care of my daughter and my daughter that's on the way, or like, you know, or doing my best to be a good husband to my wife, all of that, like, yo, that's a reflection of the people like who raised me, not just in my house, but the people who I hung with outside of my place. So this whole idea that, like, you know, I'm somehow like, you know, this exception to the rule. I mean, I can't buy into that, because a lot of my homies who are from here are doing great things. You know what I mean? There's a lot of dudes who didn't make it, absolutely, and a lot who could be doing much better. But in my travels, and I've been all around the world a couple times, you know what I mean? In my travels, every community I've been to, be it wealthy or poor or middle class, that's usually the case everywhere you go. You got some folks who do extremely great things, you know, like really great things. And then you have other folks who aren't doing so great. That's true of every community. You know what I mean? And that's true of the community I grew up in. And so, and what I notice as someone who lives here, well, not live here anymore, but as someone who grew up here, I'm always amazed at what story the media chooses to tell. Because trust, they do have a choice. And they're usually nowhere to be found when we're doing great things in our community. So, you know. Anyway. But on that note, I am here. I made it to the grand old Suitland High School, and I'm gonna try to answer whatever questions real quick. So if you got one, throw it at me, and I'm gonna try to go back through the other ones as well. Let's see what I missed here. Okay. Albion, I think that's how you say your name. Thank you. I appreciate you for tuning in. All right. Oh, Melbourne was up in here. Peace to you for tuning in as well. Beat spot in the area that's still around for wings and mambo. Best spot. Best spot for wings and mambo. Man, if you're in Suitland, #1 carryout is still here. That was the main spot we used to order our wings and mambo from. I forget the joint that was down the street. It was off I think Suitland Parkway, or Suitland Road actually. There was a dope joint in there, but the one in Suitland Road, that joint, it was wild, B. I forget the name of it though. So it was that and Eddie's. Like if you're over off of MLK, I think right over there where what's that called? Oh man, I'm trying to remember. If you're over off of MLK, I think right where PG's getting ready to end and Northeast starts, there's a spot called Eddie's. That was one of my favorite spots. Up until a couple years ago, before I gave up chicken, that was the main place I would go. How can an artist, Kofi asks, how can an artist develop his own style and not end up as an imitator? Well, I think the best way to do that, I mean, you're gonna have to study other artists, right? And so when you're studying other artists, it's, you're gonna end up being influenced by them. But as you get better, the best thing I can tell any artist, right? Try to spend less time, like once you get the idea, the basics of rapping, once you get that down, the best thing you can do now is just to study music in general. Just listen to more music in general and stop studying rappers at a certain point and start studying instruments. Because, rap is unique in that it's like a combination of sports and music. But a lot of rappers kind of view it more as sport than music. And I've gotten to a point where like it's music, you know what I mean? Period. I think that a little sport is good because of the fact it keeps you sharp. You know what I mean? Like that competition, friendly competition it's fine. I don't mind. I came up as a battle rapper, so you know what I mean? Before I was doing these very deep songs and really expressing how, who I was and my point of view. I was really just on some, I rap better than you, you know what I mean? And I'm willing to prove it. And I still write like battle raps here and there just because I like to keep my sword sharp, you know what I mean? So, a fan from France, peace to you. I thank you. Thank you, Joe. Yep, yes you are. I'm still trying to catch up real quick. You're welcome, family. Substantial snapback. Where's the Marcus D snapback? That's a question for Marcus D. All right. I'm sure he'll probably have hats at some point in time, though. What else? My question was actually in reference to producing, but I assuming the answer is the same. Got you. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Kofi. Yes and no. So I think with production, it's tricky, right? Because it's like you have to know music, and what I mean by that is you may not be able to read sheet music, but you should still know how to play. Like the better I think the understanding you have of how music works, ultimately you'll be able to kind of, not just mimic things, but figure, like when you know how it's done and you've seen it done so many ways and you studied it enough, eventually you'll figure out what isn't being done, and then you start to kind of introduce things that you don't see people doing. So if you're a sample based artist, if you're someone who likes to sample, start looking at what isn't really being sampled, especially if you're an artist that's in a foreign country where you have access to music that other artists don't necessarily have access to, because that's why, like, when Marcus D and I tour, first thing he does when we get into like foreign places or different cities is he goes digging for records that you can't necessarily find anywhere else, because sonically it's going to change up the sound a little bit. That's if that's what he's looking to do at the time. And so you know, like, I think of when I was in Istanbul, when I was performing in Istanbul, we went to a club after our performance for the Miller Music Fest, and like, the DJ, because he was an American DJ, but he was basically you know, spinning for a mostly Turkish crowd. This dude started playing Turkish psychedelic rock. Hey, yo. It was like he played like 5 or 6 joints back to back, and it sounded like psych rock, but because of how their language sounds, and because of the fact it's a Muslim country, the singing reminded me of like when I was living in Brooklyn and would be near Flatbush downtown and go near the mosque, and you hear like the men singing, you know, when they're praying or chanting when it's time for prayer, and like it reminded me of that. So that mixed with like psych rock, like psychedelic rock, bruh, like it was insane. So I think using, like, pulling elements of your culture, you know what I mean, what makes you you, in combination with like you not being scared to kind of experiment sonically, you know, that's the easiest way to kind of find your sound, you know. So that's about it. So again, I'm gonna get ready to run. Kofi, I appreciate the questions, and everybody else, man, thank y'all for tuning in. Like I said, I'm gonna see if I can create like a regular thing here on YouTube. But yo, another favor to ask, or the last time I'm gonna ask the favor before I go. Again, the Kickstarter campaign is still live. We have 13 days left. It ends September 5th at 12 noon. If you do not have, like, when you look at the perks, if you know money's tight right at this moment, no worries. You can still choose what pledge you want to make now, and then it doesn't pull the money until September 5th. So, you know, if you know you're getting paid like later this week or next week sometime, you can still pledge now, and then don't have to worry about like the money coming out early, because it doesn't come out until September 5th and after. All right. But again, please support the campaign if you can. Even if you're not a person who's interested in getting the vinyl per se, but you want to contribute, it does give you the option to do that as well. This is a great way to help make this vinyl available to everybody. And everyone who orders one gets it autographed and sent directly to you from me, along with other cool perks. So check it out. Again, that's bit.ly/sub-on-wax. The link should be in the description. Hit me up if y'all got questions. All right. Hey man, y'all have a great day. Y'all be safe out here. It's a lot of crazy things happening in the world right now. Y'all be safe, man. Love y'all for supporting. And y'all be good, man. Take care of you. Take care of your people. Peace.